This is the Motorola Moto G84 Disassembly. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell so you'll be notified once I upload a new video. And if you need any tools, there are links in the description. To start off, the SIM tray needs to be removed. Here's a better look at the SIM tray. Now heat needs to be applied to the back plate to loosen up the adhesive underneath, and then a plastic pry tool can be used to pry the back plate off. Here's a look at the vegan leather back. There are 17 Phillips screws which need to be removed. Now a plastic pry tool can be placed in between the back housing and the frame of the screen and ran along the edges to pop off the catches. The back housing is also made of plastic. The glass camera lens covers can be replaced by applying heat and prying them off, so you don't need to take apart the phone to replace those. There are two antenna flex cables on this side, as well as the NFC antenna. We can see additional antenna flex cables are on the border on the other side, the LED flash board, and graphite film to help transfer heat. The battery cable can now be disconnected, followed by the rest of the cables. The two coaxial cables can also be disconnected by just popping them off. To remove the main board, there are two Phillips screws holding it down. Looking at the main board, there's a 50 megapixel primary camera and an 8 megapixel ultrawide and macro lens. The main camera is the only one with OIS or optical image stabilization. The camera connectors can be disconnected by just popping them off. There's a secondary microphone on the top, and there's copper tape over the front shields to help transfer heat. There's also a liquid damage indicator sticker, which is that white sticker on the corner. Looking at the other side, we can see the 16 megapixel front facing camera, the proximity sensor on the top corner, and the SIM card and memory card reader. There's more copper tape on the back as well as thermal paste to help transfer heat. Once the copper tape has been peeled back, we can see more thermal paste on top of the RAM and processor. Here's a better look with the thermal paste removed. Moving on to the battery. To replace that, there are no pull tabs provided to help you pry it off, so you'll need to use some isopropyl alcohol and apply it to the sides of the battery and let it sit for about 30 seconds to a minute so it eats away at the adhesive underneath, making it easier to pry it off. Here's a better look at the 5000 mAh battery. Now that the battery has been removed, we have a better look at this flex cable which connects the main board to the subboard, as well as the screen cable which is routed through an opening in the mid-frame. So if you needed to replace the screen, you'd have to remove the back plate, the screws in the back housing. You'd then have to disconnect the battery cable and the screen cable, pry the battery off, giving you access to the screen cable, at which point you would heat up the front of the phone where the screen is to loosen up the adhesive underneath, pry the old screen off, apply new adhesive and reapply the new screen, making sure you run the flex cable back to the opening in the mid-frame, and reassemble the phone. The two other ends of the coaxial cable, this flex cable, and the flex cable for the fingerprint scanner need to be disconnected from the subboard. There's a single Phillips screw which is holding down the subboard. There's a rubber gasket around the charger port and headphone jack, and the primary microphone is located underneath the shield. There's also another liquid damage indicator sticker, which is that white sticker. Here's a look at the other side. The vibrator motor, fingerprint scanner, and bottom speaker are all held down with some adhesive. So if you need to replace those, you just have to apply some heat and gently pry them off. Once this flex cable has been peeled back, as well as the graphite film, we can see a 3D layer of graphite which runs underneath the battery and motherboard, and that's used to help transfer heat. The flex cable for the volume keys and power button is located on this side, which is held down with some adhesive, so if you need to replace that, you would have to just gently peel it off. And the same goes for the earpiece speaker, which is located on top. There is also one more liquid damage indicator sticker, which is on the frame, underneath the SIM reader. For the repairability score on this phone, I give it a 6 out of 10. Now it's time to put it back together. Once everything's back in place, apply new adhesive and reapply the backplate. Flip over the phone, power it on, and you're done. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.